3 strikers that we are interested in, and 3 I think we're probably not, because basically West Ham have announced their first choice 3 striker targets. Haven't announced, really. Leaked. Under the radar sort of thing. It might not even be true, but let's just pretend that it is, because if we wait until actually somebody is stood there, a player, holding up his shirt once he's signed that says, normally has, they don't have their number on the back, do they? On the back of the shirt it would say sort of like 2026, which would be when their contract expires. We wait until then, we don't really have a video. I don't know about you, I like discussing transfer rumours. Anyway, the big 3 we are interested in, apparently, are, let's see, Ollie Watkins, no particular order here. Darwin Nunez, no big surprise then. And, of course, Armando Broja. I prefer Mandalorian Broja. But anyway, it's up to him what his name is. It's probably not the name his parents gave him. Those are the 3 we're interested in. What I think is probably more of an interesting story are 3 that we are supposed to be interested in, but I don't think we're not. There's 3 other names which are being pushed out there by the mainstream media. And those names are Eddie Nketiah, Adam Hložek, and, of course, Brereton Díaz. I actually remembered 6 names. I'm more pleased with myself than I should be for just remembering 6 names. But there you go. Let's deal with the I was going to say the crap ones, not the crap ones. Let's deal with the ones that I don't think we're particularly interested in first. And they're not all crap, far from it. Well, one of them is. Anyway, Adam Hložek, let's just deal with him to start with. Now, there was a story last week that Kretinsky, one of our joint owners, had offered Hložek to West Ham on loan from Sparta Prague. He also owns 40% of Sparta Prague. Kretinsky, not Hložek. You still with me? Apparently, David Moyes and Rob Newman have turned around and said no, they haven't decided their striker targets yet. They want to wait and see. I mean, I found this a really, really hard one to believe for so many reasons. Firstly, I don't believe that the other thing that was in the story, that they need to assess his performances. There's Adam Hložek will be one of the players that David Moyes knows all about. I also don't believe that we've only been offered Adam Hložek now. Probably would have been one of the first things that happened when Kretinsky joined, or even when he was rumoured to be joining. Don't forget, the whole reason we were kicking back all that Pi Capital interest at the time was because our owners knew that Hložek was going to be buying a stake in the club. We also got a really good relationship with a lot of the Czech players. Probably not Alex Krau anymore. However, all the others, they seem to quite like us. My point is, David Moyes would have been aware of Adam Hložek for a long, long time. He doesn't need to scout him for another game. He either wants him or he doesn't. I suspect the reason Hložek hasn't rocked up at West Ham thus far is probably because David Moyes doesn't want him. I think that's just the simplest explanation here. Also, the whole loan thing. Why? I don't get why would Sparta Prague loan him. If he was that good, then obviously we would buy him. Why would he be in the shop window at West Ham? Surely because, well, basically, the 2 clubs, the selling club and the buying club, share the same owner. There should be a little bit of an oiling of the wheels, a bit of a discount, I'm thinking, really. We should get him at a reduced price. I think if we wanted him, he's there for the taking. Basically, no club in the world should be in a better position to sign Adam Hložek than West Ham United. Why is he not here? Maybe Moyes just doesn't fancy him. Okay? The other one, well, the other 2. Okay, let's just talk with Brereton Díaz really quickly. It does my head in when we keep getting linked to him. But he scored all his goals in the first half of the season. Not saying he scored none in the second half of the season, but I think you'll find at the start of the season he might have scored 20, and the second half of the season he scored 6 or something like that. My figures are wrong, but they're not massively wrong. But my point is the same. He's dropped off a cliff, and I think when you want to go and sign players for reasonably large money, and apparently he's rumoured to be worth 20 odd million pound. I think you want to see a little bit of consistency there, don't you? And don't forget, when Gerard Bowen joined West Ham from Hull, he was banging in the goals for Hull. He'd also had a really good season the season before as well. And I think even the season before that, he'd played the last bit of the season for Hull, had some Premier League experience. Not much, but a little bit. Anyway, I'm not overly impressed when I've seen him. And he's all right, but I don't think he particularly suits us. The other one is Eddie Nketiah. Now, I think this is brilliant, bearing in mind, like Declan Rice, newly crowned Hammer of the Year. Congratulations, Declan, by the way. But like Declan Rice wanted to rip Eddie Nketiah's head off very recently. I thought, that would be an interesting dynamic in the dressing room. There was no doubt about it. Declan Rice and a lot of the West Ham players were basically calling Nketiah a cheat. Why? Well, because he was cheating. But there you go. The other thing is, I actually thought he was a bit crap. I thought he had 4 or 5 really good chances that I would expect a striker to put away. I would also expect anybody that wants to come in and replace Michail Antonio to probably be a better option than Michail Antonio. Nketiah didn't look it to me. And then you add in that there, and I'm hoping in the next week or two to get an interview with an agent on here. I don't want to say too much now, but I'll. That's something we'll be looking to do to get an agent interview on Hammers Chat. We're pretty close. Anyway, so apparently what's the situation with Nketiah is he wants guaranteed 28 games. Well, we'll forget it. That's just not happening. What was the centre-back's name at Chelsea when AC Milan? Tomori? I think it's Tomori. That's Tomori. Well, him, he's a really good player as well. David Moyes wouldn't even guarantee him first team place. He doesn't do it. Doesn't do it. It's not something he'll do. And then Nketiah says, I want 28 Premier League starts. Well, that'll do it. Also, he wants a massive signing on fee. I'm talking millions. And he wants wages, which would make him one of the top earners in the club. I mean, it's just that there's no reason to do this deal at all. And we need to be aiming higher. We're at a good level at the moment. We're a top 7 team. Well, whatever we are, we play European football. Hopefully the same next season. We want to improve the team. We don't want to bring in. Listen, let's be perfectly honest. Would you be convinced if we had Eddie Nketiah that David Moyes would look onto that bench and think, I'm going to bring him off the bench? He just wouldn't. I honestly have no faith in that. David Moyes needs to sign players who he wants to bring off the bench, or put the players that are part of the team onto the bench. Before I go any further, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, which you can download by clicking that link down there or using that QR code up there. The OneFootball app is packed full of all the latest West Ham transfer gossip. I must be honest, there's a lot more players on there, particularly strikers than the ones I've just mentioned. In all honesty, a lot of them are playing in foreign leagues. I don't know them. And we've got enough with 6 players to get over in this video. But if you want to find out more about all the transfer dealings at West Ham, and not just that, every bit of news pertinent and relevant to West Ham, download the OneFootball app. It's free. When you sign up, click the support West Ham. Puts all the news into one place for you. So I think that's the 3 that I don't think we are interested in. And now the 3 which officially, unofficially, we are interested in. Ollie Watkins. Now, I'm not going to say an awful lot about Ollie Watkins. If you remember recently, a month or 2 ago, Gio did a video. I think it was entitled something along the lines of The Striker That Is Perfect for West Ham. There we go. When we thought it was an Aston Villa striker, I think the loving for Danny Ings. Do you reckon a love affair between Gio and Danny Ings is on the wane? I think it is. He's got there's a new striker in town. His name's Ollie Watkins. Gio very eloquently put forward a number of reasons why Ollie Watkins would suit West Ham, and suit David Moyes. And I agree with him on all of them. So it's easy to understand why this particular player would be coveted by David Moyes. This is an easy transfer rumour to understand. I think that's right. That makes sense. Whether Aston Villa would do business, I just don't know. It really depends how important a player he is to Steven Gerrard. This is also why European football becomes fundamentally important, because I don't think we can beat a lot of these clubs for money, but if we're in European football, that's one thing. If we are contesting players with Aston Villa or with Newcastle, we can say, excuse me, come and play football for us. We're in European football, and that might be attractive to a player, which might make them, want to come to us. So Ollie Watkins is one of them. Let's just deal with Darwin Nunez ever so quickly. Look, he's there. He's available. We know the fee, which I believe is 64 million euros. We already know as well that Benfica have sourced his replacement. Don't ask me who it is. Don't know, but apparently that's all sorted. So he's ready to go. We know David Moyes likes him. I guess the question is the fee. I am not convinced. Okay. Now when I saw him, as I remember it, when they played against Liverpool, it was Liverpool if I remember correctly. He played in the first leg. I thought he was awful. I thought he was really divey. I thought he didn't contest it at all. I thought no. This is West Ham, we'd already spent our record transfer on one striker in Sebastian Haller who didn't suit our style. I thought, well, this is not good. I think we need somebody that's going to contest a game. We need someone that's going to be robust in a challenge. We need someone quite attritional. I just looked at him. I thought, this isn't him. Rather than going in for the battle at the slightest contact, he was going down. Now, I didn't see the second game. Apparently, he played very, very differently in the second game, and he was very good. People were impressed with him. Didn't see the second game, so I can't say. But we know those things about him already. The last one is Mandalorian Broja. Armando Broja. I like him. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the fact he's not scored that many goals, because I think whilst he's not ideal every time for the new team command, which is Hasenhüttl, who does sort of change his team, change his tactics up quite a bit. West Ham don't really. We have a set way of playing, and I think he's perfect for it. I think he's got a bit of everything. I think he can play with his back to goal, strong enough to play with his back to goal, but also fast enough to spin in behind. One-on-one, he's really good, so he's got a trick. He can beat the defenders. I also think he's bloody good in the air as well, which is obviously, we know we like our set pieces as well, a threat from there. And also, I think he's a decent finisher, good eye for goal. I actually look at him, I think he ticks every single box for West Ham. I really do. We have a bit of a problem with this, and that is, I think, whilst we would like to buy him, you can't get an answer out of Chelsea because they don't know. They don't know the exact constitution of the ownership model which they're going to be operating under. They don't know if they're going to have to sell to buy. Clearly, they're going to have to buy a lot of central defenders. So are they going to have to generate a few funds? Will the new owner put in 300 million for players, in which case they don't need to sell Broja? If the new owners come in and they say you're going to have to generate your own income from this year's television money and who else you sell, it may well be an option. It may well be that Tuchel doesn't fancy him. Is Tuchel even going to be the manager? You just don't know. Why would Tuchel not be the manager? He's an excellent manager. I'm just saying, when new owners come into clubs, often they do seem to have their own set of ideas. I doubt they're changing Tuchel, but it just goes to show how hard it is to actually, for, let's say, Rob Newman or David Sullivan to phone up Bruce Buck, who's the chief executive at Chelsea, and say, can we buy this player? Bruce Buck said, I just don't know. I just don't know at the moment, which makes that very difficult. Here's where I think is a very, very important part of, if we are highlighting the Mandalorian to come in, and that is it's really important that if he's our first choice, we don't wait. The Chelsea ownership model might take a little bit longer. We don't know. Apparently, they've had a bid accepted. Apparently, they've settled on it. But nobody expected this situation. There's no example of a club being removed from an owner and then basically put up for auction by the government. There's no model of that where we can look at and say, oh, that happened before and that took 12 weeks or whatever. There is no example of it. So yes, whilst we all think it might be done in the next week, it might take 4 months. I don't know. You don't know. The fact of the matter is probably going to be somewhere in between there. What I don't want West Ham to do is wait, and in the end we don't get the player and then have another year with no striker. But there's some good ones. In all honesty, Ollie Watkins or Mandalorian Broja, they would do for me, because I know them. I know they would play well for West Ham. Nunez is a little bit, it's just an unknown. That's why he looks like a class player, looks like a quality player. The other two are quicker than him, and as you know, I'm a little bit fussy about speed. I think there's one thing we've got to really add to the club, apart from players, it's pace. We need to become a quicker team. We could become really dangerous, then really, really dangerous. We're dangerous and we're decent anyway. A bit like most of you lot in the comments. But pace would just make us an awful lot better. Anyway, there you go. 3 strikers that I'd rather not have, 3 strikers that I would, and 3 that apparently the club are interested in. Tell you what, give me one. From that list, by the way. Don't go telling me someone that is in the reserves at Besiktas that I've never heard of, right? Out of those 6 strikers, name your one striker in the comments below, please. And hopefully we'll be able to tell by the end of it who we all fancy.